before I get to the actual review, I want to talk about the fact that there was also another anniversary that's, I think, 20 years now. Well, a couple. One I already did a review of. One I didn't. The one I didn't is basically the band's Porcupine Tree's debut album. I only having heard the remaster remix version for one thing. Secondly, even so, I can kind of tell how that album was literally the band's the first project, and when Steven Wilson wasn't even taking it seriously and before he went full band with it. How the follow-up album, even with having only listened to the remaster remix, is way better and more akin to what I'm used to from them. Believe it or not. Especially with Steven Wilson's solo stuff on a good day, too. But regardless, those are my thoughts. If you're wondering of the first record, it's a name I'm blanking on. You can say it in the comments. I'm not going to get mad. Or at least I'll try not to. I'll just, But anyways, that's my thoughts on that. Why we're doing this? Because new freaking albums coming out this coming week. And I want to talk about these albums. This particular album is preparation. Because everybody, so far, a lot of people have put this album as their number that I've seen rankings of so far. Not having seen the recent tier list that Notes is now doing, which is probably a revision. I'm guessing he's still going to put that album up as number one. So it may not change. We'll see. Subject to change if he sees this, and I'll let you know in the comments or some other bullshit. But regardless, the actual review comes in, and that album we're going to be talking about, if you haven't already read the title card, is Porcupine Tree's Fear of a Blank Planet. The third of the metal era of the band, so to speak. The first while signed to Roadrunner Records. The band both produced and arranged it themselves, with frontman Steven Wilson having mixed and mastered this thing, as it seems he has done throughout most of his career. Gavin Harrison still is a great drummer, apparently. He's done great on the drums there. One of the last great moments we'll probably have with Colin Edwards doing bass, I guess. It's because he's not involved in the new record, unfortunately, as it is only Barberry and Harrison that have returned with Wilson for the band. Though it would be interesting if Edwards like, hey, I still want to join on the tour. That'd been some fucked up shit. Though I wouldn't be surprised if whoever Wilson wants to hire from his previous solo stuff, he decides to bring on as bassist. I don't know how they're going to do that to the tours. For sure. But also the interesting guest appearance from Alex Lifeson doing the guitar solo in the studio for Anesthese, which in and of itself, and then of course Robert Fripp having done the soundscapes on Way Out of Here. John Wesley is known for doing background vocals. Those are your credits. The thing about this album is it is their 9th studio album. And their best-selling before 2009's The Incident. It was released on April 16th, 2007 in the UK and the rest of Europe. And hopefully by Canada and everywhere else in other blah blah blahs. Wilson has mentioned that this album's title is a direct reference to the 1990 Public Enemy album Fear of a Black Planet. While the former tackled race issues, the latter is about the fear of losing the current generation of youth to various common threats to their mental and social well-being, including broken homes, excessive screen time, and narcotic overuse to the point of mental and spiritual blankness, actually. I don't know why I said blank. I guess because of me reading reading the Fear of a Black Planet part must have screwed me up. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Very sorry. Tongue-tied. I hate it when it happens. The album was written until Tel Aviv and London between January and July 2006. The promotion of the record included a premiere spot. Okay, you don't really need to read the rest of this. But that's mostly what is tackled here, and that's a lot of it as well. And for the most part, I feel like... Now, some people might not consider this that great of an album. I don't know. So far, there hasn't been a whole lot talked about. Porcupine Tree doesn't have too many ranking lists so far. And I hope that after the new album comes out, that'll change. Though we'll see. Because so far, most people will tell you the Incident's their worst. I don't know if I would go that far, but... I mean, having that following up this was going to be a tough task. That's for sure. Especially if the opening title track is great. It pretty much does get the point across of what you're getting yourself into. How can I be sure I'm here? The pills that I've been taking confuse me. Stuff like that. Some sunlight coming through the haze, the gaps in the blind to let it inside. The bed is unmade, some music still plays. TV, yeah, it's always on. The flicker of the screen, a movie actress screams. I'm seeing the shit flowing out of it. I'm stoned in the mall again, terminally bored, shuffling around the stores, and shoplifting is getting so last year's thing. Xbox is a god to me. A finger on the switch. My mother is a bitch. My father giver. If I'm ever trying to talk to me. Try engaging me. The drugs, the prescription drugs, you'll never find inside my face is curiosity is giving up on me. I'm turning out to... There's the pills are on the rise. How can I be sure I'm here? The pills that I've been taking confuse me. I need to know that someone sees that there's nothing left. I simply am not here. I could go on with this one. My Ashes, I feel like, deals with so much other things, it seems. Anesthesia probably... And Anesthesia probably being one of the better and most noted tracks. Despite being the longest, it is actually feels shorter than it should be. It's long because it's to kind of put into three kinds of acts in their own right. Types of acts involving how the drug high comes to be sentimental. What he hears pretty good. I mean, and then Sleep Together dealing with more so the particular mental issues that come from these. And I feel like they tackle those issues quite well, I would say. I get if some of it comes across in terms of tackling the issues, they still sort of age well. Sure, some references maybe towards MTV and straight up Xbox as opposed to the current one, opposed to referencing like the later generations of Xbox, the Microsoft Xbox console. Maybe those are like somewhat dated, I guess, in terms of from what the title track, but that's about it, I'd say. Everything else seems to be pretty accurate about it, I guess, in that way, in terms of, I guess, more so just a bunch of Gen Xers talking about millennial stuff, which is probably why some people may not and feel like they're being pretentious about it, but I don't think so. And plus the music is still solid, or at least the way they handle it here is good, and especially when they start flirting with more electronic ideas on this record as well. Which they do eventually do on the next one, but for some reason the production and the way it's done of from Incident was just not as strong as how it is with this, and yet alone even the previous 2 albums prior to this, especially we're talking In Absentia, which I already have a video, check that out. Look that up somewhere in the ethers if you have to. As well as, of course, Dead Wing. For me, so far from what I have listened to, I would say I am more the kind of person that would tell you to listen to Stupid Dream Upwards, basically, from this band. Even though there's some people who diss the pop era of this pop rocky era, I like what they did, honestly. And it's not that the delirium years, the early years when they were just more straight up post prog, I guess you would say, that was fine. And it's not like they didn't like kind of flirt with metal in places and hint that they were gonna go more so there with the music, or at least what they did, it was more flirting with the more traditional or new wave British heavy metal influences that Steven Wilson had already cited he was influenced by, but he wound up being more interested in the more progressive and electronic music as he grew older, though he started to get back into it thanks to having, done stuff like that with their last couple of records, with these last 4 records. Now, this new album that's supposed to come out, it'll have elements of it, but I feel like it's going to be more reminiscently closer to what Steven was doing, more so from his albums he released solo-wise, minus the recent one that he did since the band went on hiatus. And some of those ideas are more so, luckily, the great albums of Hank and I Racing to the Bone are a little bit more present. And I do get vibes from Porcupine Tree stuff of the more In Absentia meets more so what I got from the remastered remix version of their second record, of the band's second album. That's Up the Downstairs. That's, or at least the way they handled it, with having Garrison bringing in the drums, his drums that he laid down for the remixing, and remastering of the album in 2004, which somehow makes me like this album a lot more than I probably might have been in its original state. But I need to still hear the album in its original state, I guess, to know what happened there, I guess. But regardless, I enjoyed this. I still enjoy this album just as much, if not more, if not possibly more than In Absentia. I get why some people put it number 1, and yes, I'm going to say it, because slowly but surely this has becoming, since I've been doing this channel, that has slowly but surely become one of my favorite bands now. Porcupine Tree, low-key at least, in a low-key way. And yeah, Horns Up, Masterclass certification. Hell, mostly for Anesthesia alone, but the rest of the record's still solid enough around it as well. Especially given the choice of the thematics and subject matter that are tackled here. For not being like a straight-up concept, I would say. Just tackling these things and handling it, I'd say, quite well. And, yeah, I still enjoy coming back to this record any chance I get. So, what did you guys think? What do you guys still think of Porcupine Tree in general? This album, any album you want to talk about? I mean, are you also looking forward to Closure Continuum just as much as I am? Finally, first time I get to talk about a new Porcupine Tree record since I've done this channel, or since I've found a way to get into them through Steven Wilson's solo career stuff since Hand Cannot Erase. So leave a comment below, let me know, guys, what do you think? And as always, guys, keep it random. Keep it real, keep it rocking, and I will see you in the next video, whatever that may be. Take care, y'all, and go enjoy some Porcupine Tree. Trust me, it's if you're just in a mood for some good prog rock, or even to some degree metal, I guess. Even on the poppier side too, as well. Just band's pretty much done it all in terms of the formats of this. In fact, to some degree, I would almost go as far as to say the band's sort of a weird amalgamation of post-prog and alt-prog in these recent albums. But anyways, just tell me what you guys think. Comments below. If you like this video, right the like button with the rest of you must. Hit the subscribe button. Click the notification bell to get more notifications of my videos. And one more time, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, y'all.